great amount of advocacy is needed, in my judgment, on behalf of information technology with the policymakers. You know, at the moment, the key reason why health costs are going up is not the ageing of the population, but because we're spending more and more and more and more on technology, right? Undifferentiated. But the sort of technology that's putting the big oomph behind the price increase is almost certainly not IT, but the scanners, the drugs, the robots, the laser beams, the nuclear scanning resonance devices, all of that, so they are horrendously expensive. But to an economist looking at it, it's all technology. So if you're going to differentiate information technology and that sort of thing, you've got to sell that as almost an independent package from all of that other stuff, which is where the price push is coming from.
Right. And how difficult do you think that will be to differentiate information technology?
I don't think it'd be all that difficult, because there's plenty of evidence that government at the moment is aware of what information technology can offer. Interestingly enough, George W. Bush, second last year of his presidency, gave a speech in Boston in which he said the future of reform of healthcare in terms of cost containment will be based on information technology. He got it. And
if George Bush can get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can make a joke about that, but and I think the British NHS, with their huge investment in IT, some of which is faulted, but you know, you've got to be prepared to take a few risks, and like all forms of scientific endeavour, not everything's going to go as you intend, and there's going to be negative experiences, and things will fall off the edge, but
just finally,
I think government gets it, I do,
but
well, you've got to sell the detail.
Well, speaking of government, just finally, we're a couple of days into the new Gillard Labor government as we speak, and clearly she had a very pro eHealth agenda. What sort of certainty does that bring back into the industry?
I think the industry can look at the compact that's been negotiated between the Labor Party and the Independents with a degree of comfort, because it secures at very least the development of nationwide broadband, with the costs of that subsidised, so that broadband in the bush is going to cost the same as in Balmain.
Yes.
And in addition, there's a remit being given to a National Broadband Network Company to extend to those areas of Australia that will not have immediate fibre optic access to the broadband, satellite and wireless linkage. So I think that we can take it as given that for the next 3 years we'll see a development of broadband throughout the nation. Of course, you'd be the first to say to me, well, the turnover in IT is immense, and do we know whether, you know, what's the next thing after broadband? Well, I don't know, and maybe even you don't know, but there will be something. But for the and you know, it may have a life of 3 to 5 years, and that's it. And maybe a totally new world of IT communication.
Well, my comment would be, let's get the broadband network first.
Exactly. Let's get that working. Let's get and you know, the other really important point it raises is that if it's going to work, you need capacity in the people who are going to use it. You need to manage the change. You need to ensure sustainability. A whole lot of human service sides of this thing, and IT to be effective in healthcare is not going to be effective unless and until we take the human factor side of it. We talk about involving the clinicians in the development of ideas, training them to use this stuff, all the rest of it. This is a really big management issue, not just a technological management issue.